predictions, then hope you forget about how wrong they were. But not Mackey and Judd.
Write this down.
This is the big leagues, where we own our terrible predictions.
Write that down.
And keep track of each other's batting averages. It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackey and Judd.
That's right. When are you going to admit that you were wrong? Every
Right
Wednesday.
now.
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Right
Or
here.
sometimes admit that you were right. Man, you were getting attacked on Purple Daily, Judd, about Kellen Mond.
Yeah.
That you need to apologize for the personal attacks. That you were... Some people accused you of lying about what you were seeing in the practices.
I love it.
The fake news media.
I love it. Takes me back to when I was at the Strib and the Favre stuff would break, and I would get notes. Who are your sources, Zolgad?
Yeah.
Who are your sources? To give up your sources, you're lying. You don't have
Reveal your sources.
Reveal your sources. I love this.
Amazing.
I
So
appreciate all you.
this is the most innovative and high-risk segment in all of sports media. The only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions. We are as transparent as any show you're going to find in the country. It's called Write That Down, and here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate like Chris is about to, you can send us a message through the Score North app. We'll get you scheduled sometime this fall. Write That Down is presented by our friends, in part, at Spiral Light Candles. If you are looking for gift ideas here, Judd has sort of stumbled into a great one over these past few months. Listen up.
That's right. Like, if you're trying to find a gift for a birthday, for your girlfriend, for, heck, your boyfriend, husband, wife, mom, dad, you know what? Spiral Light Candles are the perfect gift because these things make any home, the scent, smell better. They're great. But right now, I want to tell you about something even more important because that is the availability at spirallightcandles.com of Judd's Purple Positivity Candle, which is a Vikings-themed purple candle which you can burn during games. So when all hell is breaking loose on the football field, you remain calm, you remain at peace, as that Purple Positivity Spiral Light Candle burns right by you. And they all also are going to be at the State Fair starting this week on the lower level of the grandstand, and the purple candle will be there as well for purchase. But if you're not going to the State Fair, spirallightcandles.com, spirallightcandles.com if you want to be one with the football game.
All right, let's get to the accountability session here, boys. Let's see what has come off the board for this week. Judd, you actually had nothing come off the board for the second consecutive week here, pushing all your predictions into the future. Mm-hmm. So we'll highlight a featured prediction from you that's still on the board. You said Carlos Correa will finish 4th or higher in MVP voting in 2022.
That's not going to happen.
What would have to happen the next 5 weeks for
Nothing.
this to come to fruition?
I don't think I think you could take it off the board
Next
right
to
now,
nothing.
and I wouldn't be upset if you actually dig me for that right this second.
Yeah, he'd probably have to hit
Like 500.
10 or 15 home runs. He'd have to hit like 450 or something.
I don't think there's any way.
It's going to be tough.
That was a bad
With Aaron Judge pacing the field for the MVP.
I know Tani's going to get a ton of votes.
Yeah. All right, I had 2 things come off the board here. Kind of a rough week for old Macadac in many ways. I said the Twins would lose only 1 game or fewer between last week and this week. That, by the way, that prediction started off hot. They had won like 4 games in a row, and then
Royals. You look good when they were playing the Royals.
Even the first game against Texas, and then
Martin Perez.
And then they faltered. Yeah. I also told you that Byron Buxton in that same week would have a game-tying or go-ahead home run of some kind in the 8th inning or later, and he mostly just got hurt, so there's really nothing there. Listeners, Matt said Byron Buxton will have 30 or more home runs by the end of August. He has 28 with over a week to go.
And oh my God. Matt, that's a bad beat.
He probably would have hit the other 2 at some point. He was just limping up there, right?
I think so.
Oh, man.
Most likely would have.
Yeah. And then Declan had a lot of things come off the board here. This is a bad beat. You said Will Zalatoris will win the 2022 FedEx Cup. Well, he's got 2 herniated discs.
What are they going to say now, Will? Well, you have herniated discs in your back, dude, and you can't win the FedEx Cup. So that's what they're going to say.
That's kind of a bad thing when you're in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
He already has herniated discs.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal.
You said the Twins will be tied or leading the AL Central at some point in the last week. You said Byron Buxton will start no more than 12 games in August. 13 starts for Byron Buxton.
Oh, that's a bad beat.
Bad beat.
That's a bad beat. Oh, my God. That's a terrible beat.
You were on it. You were definitely on it. You were tracking. But looks like he robbed you of one there. And then you did make up for a little bit by saying the Wolves will have at least 2 games on ESPN on the initial schedule release. I believe it's 6. They have 6 games on ESPN. They should be a fun team to watch. I think it's going to be. I think the curiosity factor for the Timberwolves is going to be very high, especially early in the season. And so with that, Declan still holding strong, although pretty far down from his peak of like a .515 batting average. You're batting .465 with a league-leading 13 home runs. Judd, you're at .368 with 7 home runs. Listeners at .297 with 10 home runs. And I'm at .291 with 9 home runs on the season. All-time, Judd leads with 235 hits. Listeners lead with 29 home runs. And so there you have it. There's your accountability session. Let's get Chris in here. He is our guest listener predictor. I'll pull this off the screen for the YouTube audience so we can see Chris in his car. Are you parked? Are you safe?
I am right now. I'm actually taking a break from my morning job, so they have no idea this is happening right now. So what they don't know can't hurt them.
We'll keep it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it when people sneak away from like their jobs or their family. They're just sitting like we had one guy from like a stall in a bathroom at one point earlier this year.
Yeah.
Just trying to hide, not get fired what are you doing in there? I'm just making predictions about the Twins. Don't bother me. So Chris, when did you first become a Minnesota sports fan? What are your Minnesota sports fan origins?
Well, I think it was a rainy afternoon in 1986 when my mom was forced to watch Jack Nicklaus win the Masters. Since then, I came out. My family's a big sports family. You know, we're all diehard Vikings fans. My grandpa, he had season tickets. He would always go to the old Met with this big fur coat and sneak a bottle of Crown Royal in there and order like
Love those guys.
Yeah, like
awesome.
once he went in there and this lady's like, "What are you doing?" He's pouring like Crown. He's like, "I'm making myself a drink. Do you want one?" And she's like, "Yeah." So, it's just kind of born into it. That's kind of how it is. So, yeah.
I love it. I'm a little younger than Judd and Chris are, but I take great pride in our friend group in college going to Mariucci Arena and finding ways to bring some gasoline in there to go get a giant Diet Coke, pour half of it out, and then pass it around the rows in the student section. Yeah, you got to find a way in these Minnesota stadiums and arenas. You know. So, all right, let's start with Chris.
Write this down.
To Judd, over to Declan, and then back to me. 3 predictions each. They must be quantifiable. Chris, you're the leadoff man.
All right. Well, I started thinking about Dalvin Cook and this new scheme that Kevin O'Connell is going to implement here, and I think the last couple of years, Mike Zimmer just wanted to hand Dalvin Cook the ball until he passed out or got injured or whatever came first. But Kevin, over the last 4 years, over the last 2 years in Los Angeles, he had 4 different running backs have 100 carries or more. Part of it was due to injury, but the Rams like to rotate their backs. They had Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, Sony Michel, and Malcolm Brown. Over the same time, the Vikings only had 2 runners with over 100 carries. It's Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. If you want to know something really funny, Kirk Cousins is 3rd on that list with 61 attempts. I don't know how it happened.
You think that's funny, huh?
Yeah. So in a perfect world, you're going to see, Madison, Kene Nwangwu, Ty Chandler mix in. And I think as a result, Dalvin Cook is going to be a more explosive running back. So write this down. Here's my prediction. Dalvin Cook is going to lead the NFL in rushing attempts of 20 yards or more next season.
Wow. Okay. So explosive runs, basically, he's going to have. What's an explosive run? Is it 10 yards or 20 yards?
I think PFF has it at 15, but I know has it listed, 20 yards or more. So
So we can track it at NFL.com. All right. Yeah,
I like it.
I could see that. He's kind of become a little famine feast in the last couple of years.
Oh, no. He's going AP.
Like our guy,
Write
Adrian.
this down.
Loses 2, lost 1, gains 99.
Yeah.
All right, Judd.
All right. Well, I don't think the Twins are going to make major changes after this season. I do think there is going to be some type of sacrificial lamb, so write this down. The Twins will fire at least one member of their coaching staff this offseason. So they'll pick at least one. So I'm saying, so it could be more.
Oh, Pete Mackey count, or is he interim?
No, he's on the staff, though, because he came from the bullpen. So if he gets fired, but I'm saying fired. So if he goes back to the bullpen, that does not count. So I think that they're going to pick a coach or two and be like, you did not do your job. You're the problem. And so it's going to be at least one. But I want to make it clear it could be more. I'm just going on one.
And this is semantics, but sometimes I don't know what their contract statuses are, but sometimes they just don't renew a guy's contract. That counts essentially as a firing in this case, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not bring back, yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's fair. All right, over to Dex here.
Write this down.
All right, I'll make a Twins prediction here too. Write this down. The Twins will retake sole possession of first place sometime after Labor Day. So over the next, 12 days, they will not retake the division. They're behind 3 games right now, but I think eventually they will get back in front, but it won't be until after Labor Day. So the Twins will retake sole possession of first place in the AL Central sometime after Labor Day. Write it down.
I love the positivity. I love the fair and balanced nature of this show, because we can sit there and hammer the Twins for a half hour and still say, but there might be some light at the end of the tunnel here. And so I'm going to give you some positivity as well, okay?
Write this down.
You two stop. Just stop this. I can't.
Byron Buxton, I think this 10-day rest period is going to be just what he needed. I don't think he's going to be perfect coming out of it, but this is exactly what he needed. Just go chill out for like 10 days. Don't worry about your hip, your knee, nothing. Just get treatment. So write this down. When Byron Buxton comes back until the end of the regular season, so whatever that is, if it's in 10 days, and then so maybe he plays for 3 days, I don't know. But the period that he comes back, he will have an OPS of 900 or better during that time. So his season OPS is 833 right now. I think he's going to emerge, and hopefully it's not too late that they're not 7 games behind or something, because they've got some tough games. They got the Astros, they got the Yankees for 4 at Yankee Stadium. So there's half a chance. They're playing
well again now.
I know.
Perfect timing.
There's half a chance that it might be too late by the time Buck comes back, but I think this is going to be good for him, and he will finish strong.
So are you saying that he'll have an OPS of that stretch of 900? Or are you saying by the end of the regular season, his season OPS is going to be 900?
The stretch. Yep.
Okay.
So whether it's a 10-game stretch or a 20-game stretch, whatever that stretch is, he'll have a 900 OPS or better.
Okay.
So, all right, back to Chris in his car.
Well, one of my bosses at Zone Coverage, Tom Schreier, likes to call me Clairvoyant Chris, because I like to look at things down the road and kind of see trends. So Madden 23 came out last week, and it's basically the same game as last year. I don't know why I bought it, but there's one important addition this year, and that was the gritty. Now, when some 9-year-old's killing you online, they can bust out. Everybody just has a good time.
Yeah.
I think Justin Jefferson's a monster year. The Cooper Cup roll, as they call it, needs its own T-shirt with as much as it's been mentioned this offseason. And I think Jefferson's already super popular, but I think he's going to produce at a historical rate. He wants to be one of the best receivers in the NFL and get 2,000 yards. So my prediction is this. Justin Jefferson will be the cover athlete for Madden NFL 24 next year.
Wow, dude. I love this.
I love
this. If you did side conversation here, if you had sort of a power ranking of current Viking players, rank them most likely that they would wind up on the cover of next year's Madden, Justin Jefferson is probably number 1, right? Maybe if Kirk Cousins won the MVP somehow, he'd be in that mix too.
I think he's 1, 2, and 3.
What if Kirk won the MVP in this new system? 5,000 yards.
Madden. Not sexy enough.
I don't know, dude.
Not sexy enough.
Maybe like if book goes off, maybe he'd get on there. But I mean, outside of that,
yeah.
When's the last time they put a defensive player? Like, has J.J. Watt ever been on the cover?
When was that?
Aaron Donald.
That was
there with Larry Fitzgerald.
That was like Madden 10. That was like Madden 11. That's Richard Sherman, I think, was the last one. He was like Madden. It was called Madden X, but it was like Madden 2014-15. I think Richard Sherman was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going through here. Yeah, they tend to lean toward quarterbacks and skill position guys. Lamar, yeah, it's mostly quarterbacks. Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Antonio Brown, 2019. Oh my gosh.
I just don't see Kirk. I don't see, no matter what Kirk does, I don't see them saying, you know who we got to market around? MVP Kirk Cousins.
It'd be hilarious though, wouldn't it? He throws for 5,300 yards. They go to the Super Bowl. Come on. Let's make it happen. Let's get Kirk on the cover. Judd's just disgusted
Write
by the
this
notion.
down.
Okay.
Off his point, quick. If I never hear a kid yell "Do the gritty" one more time, I'll be happy. Every time
Okay,
Jefferson, every time that guy catches a ball, some fan or 20 fans yell "Do the gritty." Like the first 5 times, it's like, oh, that's funny.
Okay, we'll get off your lawn.
Yeah,
we'll just
sorry about that.
take a
Do the
step back off
gritty.
your line.
It's like play Freebird.
Sorry,
No,
kid.
he's not going to play Freebird. Okay,
Sorry, kids are embracing their star player. That's
He's
just
not gonna do it.
horrible.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
you can yell Justin.
Just because you have a gash in your abdomen right now doesn't mean you have to take out your frustrations on Vikings fans who just want to see the gritty. Okay. All right, Judd, your second prediction.
Give your prediction.
Write
okay.
this down.
I'm going to attempt in this write this down prediction to bring some reality back to the Twins and Byron Buxton predictions, considering what my colleagues just did. Byron Buxton will return to the lineup this season for the Twins, and then subsequently be shut down for the season. So he's going to try to return, and he might play 5 games, he might play 10 games. I don't know. I'm not putting a prediction on games, but he will then be shut down because he has a bad knee. He's got a bad hip. According to Rocco, he's got more wrong with him than that. And at some point in time, the doctors are going to say, dude, this is not worth it. He will be shut down before the end of the regular season.
I think if that were to happen, they'd have to fall out of the race, right? So, like, we almost need a parameter on this. If they shut him down with 2 days to go, do you get this point?
Yeah, because well, if they're in the playoffs, yes. But if they're out of the postseason, he gets shut down. Like, I mean, that's.
Well, do you want to just say?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we feel like there's a semantical issue with it,
Yeah,
or
let's
technicality,
revisit it.
we can
We'll
fight
bring the
about it in
lawyers
a month from now.
We'll
Okay.
bring to write that down, law firm,
Write
and
this down.
they're on retainer.
All right, Dex, go ahead.
All right, I'll make a wrestling prediction here with Chris on the show, wrestling nerd just like Phil and I here. So I'll make a wrestling prediction. Watched Raw over a few days ago, and I'll make a prediction off Johnny Wrestling making his return. I'll say Johnny Gargano will retake the Money in the Bank briefcase off of Theory. So I don't think Triple H likes Theory one bit. He was a Vince-groomed little boy that wanted to be the next guy, and I don't think the fans love Theory. And I think Johnny is going to eventually take the briefcase off him. Phil, I'll give you an end date by the end of the Royal Rumble, just to give you some time here. I don't know if it'll be right away. But
Okay.
Johnny Wrestling will take that Money in the Bank briefcase off of Theory.
Judd, in that sort of rivalry between Theory and Johnny Wrestling, how do you sort of view that matchup?
Johnny Wrestling I like a lot. I think he's got intangibles. And you know what I hear? Good in the room. Good in the room. He's a
Very well
leader.
liked.
And that's
He's
very,
very well liked.
important.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go
That's super
JW here.
JW? Yeah.
I'm going to go
Writing
JW.
things down.
Okay, write this down. Now I'm going to go back to negative Twins here. All right. Judd's first prediction kind of dipped his toes in the water of change. That they're gonna fire like the fourth assistant coach or something, right? Write this down. There will be at least one major change to one of these 3 positions before January 1st with the Twins. Chief baseball officer, general manager, and or manager.
Okay.
And that could be, I'm leaving it open for a firing. I'm leaving it open for Thad choosing to leave for another job.
I was going to ask that.
taking another job of some kind. Okay. So there will be at least one major change at chief baseball officer, GM, and or manager for the Twins by January 1st. Write it down.
Got it.
Nice.
Especially if they don't make the playoffs. I mean, come on.
I would
down,
say
like writing
if
things
that
down.
comes to pass, especially if it's a firing, it is a definite home run.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
think
I
so.
don't
If it's
see
a
it
firing.
happening.
It's a home run. I agree.
Think about what you just said right there, and I don't disagree with you, and I will absolutely take the home run if and when it happens. But if they don't make the playoffs for the second straight year, mind you, they were the greatest home run hitting team in the history of baseball not that long ago, and all of those players were in their primes except for Nelson Cruz. And We're talking about back-to-back, potentially below 500 non-playoff seasons. And it's a big deal to consider that there might be some major change organizationally. It's like almost any other market or any other organization. Can you imagine what the chatter would be? Like, Red Sox fans are already sitting there saying, what are we doing here? Out in Boston. Yankees fans lose 10 games in the middle of August, and like Aaron Boone's on the hot seat. The dude's going to win 100 games. Yeah, it's incredible. And here it's like, what are you supposed to do? There's injuries and stuff. Let's just run it back again next year. Anyways, all right, back to Chris. Chris in his car.
All right. Well, Declan already broke the seal on the wrestling prediction, so I kind of have to. You guys coined reckless speculation, and really wrestling fans are the kings of reckless speculation because they try to fantasy book everything, and when it doesn't work, they just complain online. Well, as you mentioned, Triple H is bringing all of his guys back. He brought back Johnny Gargano, brought back Dakota Kai, who came back at SummerSlam, Io Shirai, Hit Row came back a couple of weeks ago, so everybody's coming back to work for Triple H. Write this down. Bray Wyatt will return to WWE by January 2nd, 2023. And I'm saying the second because WWE has a pay-per-view on New Year's Day called Day One that is they're trying to make their unofficial start to WrestleMania season. Okay. I'll say Bray Wyatt is back by January 2nd, 2020.
I love it.
I love
Let's get it, man.
Judd,
who would you like to see return to the WWE, Judd?
Nick Bockwinkel.
Yep.
I want Nick Bockwinkel back, baby. Bring back my childhood.
He
might be
right?
dead, but I'd like him
dead?
back. I'm sure he's probably dead, but I'd like him back.
Let's look him up. Nick Bockwinkel. He did die, yes, in 2015. Nick Bockwinkel. One of the greats of all time. He was only 5'10", too. Nick Bockwinkel, not a very big guy.
Circa 1985 at the Met, I did go to a wrestling, I believe it was WWF at the time. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
It actually might have been WWF way back.
And it was George the Animal Steel, I want to say, was there.
Eating the turnbuckles. Yeah.
And halfway through, Gaetti and Herbeck, who had played that afternoon in Cleveland, flew in and went to the Met immediately and showed up. Huge wrestling.
That's incredible.
Fans.
Yeah. Nick Bockwinkel represented the era where
Write it down. You like writing things down.
where the champions did not shave their chest, right? Where you were a burly,
or their back
hairy-chested champion.
Or their back sometimes.
Or their back. Well, of course not.
George was the greatest, man. Like, that guy had fur all over.
Yeah, he actually did look like an animal, which is where the nickname came from.
No,
so, all right,
George.
Chris, great job with these predictions here. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now on Mackey and Judd, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
Well, I got to thank my fireball-chugging mother. Don't worry, it's just how she deals with being a Vikings fan. There's nothing wrong with her. I also want to thank my Uncle Tim, who was once grounded by my grandpa for getting punched in the face by my Uncle Carl because he was cheering for Earl Campbell and the Houston Oilers when they were playing the Vikings back in the 70s. So both of them, I thank them a lot. And then thank Joe Nelson and Tom, Bring Me the News, and Tom Schreier for giving me a chance to write. And I just want to shout out The Rock because, well, why not? He's The Rock.
If you smell what The Rock.
All right. Awesome, man. There's guest listener predictor,
and your boss.
Chris.
And
shout out your boss, too.
Who has no idea this is happening.
All right, Chris, we'll do it again sometime, man. Take care.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, great stuff there. Before we get to the last few predictions here, shout out to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They've been around for over 100 years, almost as long as Nick Bockwinkel, helping businesses maximize their level of success. Federated is all about their core pillars of equity, integrity, teamwork, and respect, and they apply these four cornerstones to all interactions and decision-making in your business. Find out how you can take your business to another level partnering with Federated at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, we're
Write this down.
grinding our way to the finish line here. Old Macadac's voice is hanging by a thread thanks to COVID. Judd, your third and final prediction.
Okay, I feel like the Vikings are getting a lot of things right just from a common sense standpoint. The backup quarterbacks don't look good. You bring in a new one. I really like that. but it feels like they're sort of playing with fire on punt returner. And there's not, like, I think it's going to be Amir Smith-Marset. And in watching him catch punts, it's clear he's not really comfortable. Now, that doesn't mean if he catches it, he can't make a good play. But catching it is the key thing. And so, write this down. And I'm not even going to go with Smith-Marset here. I'm just going to go with, in the Vikings opener, there will be at least one muffed punt by a Viking. Now, it might result in a turnover. It might result in just a loose ball that the Vikings recover. But there's going to be a muffed punt because I feel like they are by the Vikings, Declan. Because I feel like the Vikings are tempting fate here. So not by the Packers. Forget the Packers. Okay. So Packer punt, a Viking catches it and muffs it. I really wish that there was more certainty here. And I could tell from the press conference with the special teams coordinator yesterday, there's really not.
What is the definition of a muffed punt? If you catch it and you run for 10 yards and then you fumble, is that still a muffed punt?
If you catch it,
that's a fumble.
If you catch it while standing still, and then you drop it, or
so it's your own fault when you muff it,
yes.
right? It's not someone punching it out. Okay.
Yes.
It's awfully negative, but okay, it's fine. Whatever.
Write this down.
We'll be and you got a gaping hole in the side of your body, so we'll let you be negative.
Sports Dad's got a sports dad.
Mm-hmm. All right, one more for me. Tour Championship this weekend, Phil. I thought my guy Will Zalatoris was going to hopefully take home the FedEx Cup. And now, as we talked about on the top, he has back issues. Not a good sign. So write this down. Instead, I'll go with my guy, Tony Finau. Write it down. Tony Finau finishes top 5 at the Tour Championship this weekend.
So you're not really going with your guy. You're kind of going with your guy.
I'm just saying it's a good performance. There's 29 of the better golfers in the season right now, and I'm saying top 5 for him. He's been on a little bit of a roll. So top 5 for Tony Finau. The
way that they do this, too, is and there's some controversy over this, but they stagger the starting scores. And so Finau is like kind of fringe top 5, I want to say, with the starting scores.
Yes, I think so. I think it's like top. Because Scheffler, right, has a 2-stroke lead, I think, going in to the event. And in general, I think like betting websites have Finau at like plus 1,500, plus 2,000 to win the Tour Championship. So he's been like 7th or 8th in terms of the field to win it from a betting perspective. So I'm just saying top. And obviously it's and this is a smaller field, right? I think there's only 29 golfers in this event. So, but just top 5 for Tony Finau.
So here are the starting positions. Scotty Scheffler starts at 10 under. Patrick Cantlay starts at 8 under. Zalatoris would have started at 7 under, but he's not going to play. And then so Finau is in a group. He's like tied for the 5th score right now, starting the tournament at 4 under. I like making golf predictions with decks here.
Write this down.
I'm going to say that Scotty Scheffler will cap one of the greatest seasons in PGA history. He will hang on to that lead. He will win the Tour Championship and take home like whatever it is, like $17 million or some ridiculous amount of money. Scotty Scheffler is having one of the great seasons in golf history. He will cap it by hanging on to his lead, so he will win. Do I get a home run for that? For just like, or is it because he's starting the tournament with the lead and he's
starting the tournament with the lead? No, actually, I think it is because he's still pinpointing one guy is going to win out of a field of 29, even with those 2-stroke lead in 4 days of golf. Like that's a home run.
Yeah, give it to me.
That's a home run.
That's great. Thanks, Dex.
It is. It's a home run.
No question. Let's give him a grand slam home run. Let's give him 3 home runs for that.
I'll ask your opinion about Dakota Kai coming back and Johnny Wrestling in theory. We'll handle some golf stuff right now. All right.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with a hole in my stomach, and we're just giving out home runs like it's going out of style.
Don't bring your negative disposition to these fun golf predictions.
Negative. Okay. I'm in pain.
You were shouting out. You were shouting out the Vikings for common sense. Then the Vikings are going to muff a punt. Like it's classic Sulcat.
I feel like they're not
negativity.
I feel like they're not addressing I feel like they aren't really sure on the reps with Smith-Marset, and that worries me.
Okay.
More on that on Purple Daily today. We're just going to give Judd like a 20-minute window to rant about muffed punts. It's going to be very exciting.
I got to take some drugs before that.
Those are your write that down predictions here.
Bring me my drugs
on Mackey and Judd. See you guys.